squad all around him. What's it like playing with those new guys, Perks?
Well, it's of course very weird and strange playing with a completely new team after playing with the same team for last 2 years. There's a lot of different like the way we talk in game is different than before, and everyone talks different, and we are not still on the same page. Like we are just starting to learn basics. We are pretty bad right now, so it's obviously really hard and stressful. But I think that we are learning really fast, and we're gonna get better really fast. So I'm really enjoying our process right now.
Speaking of things going fast, it seemed that that game kind of really heated up closer to that 30-minute mark. All of a sudden, there was like this on switch, and you guys were just like fighting all on the same page. Was that when things started to fall into place for you?
I don't think there was some fighting after 30 minutes or something. I think we just played well around, like we played a good macro game, even though we could have obviously played better. And we are just trying to play slow and like steady, like G2 used before, until we get good, until we get really good, and then we can start speeding up the game. Because personally, I could have played better this game, and I think our team fights like were misplayed, but our macro like saved our team fighting, you know.
So you have a lot of the elements of greatness, but you're still working on putting it all together. For the G2 squad that, of course, you guys are still holding as 4-time champions, what do you say to everyone that says the throne is empty right now?
Well, that's like a really funny meme, because as long as I'm here, like the throne is still on, so.
All right, well, everybody better watch out. Oh, here we go.
Take it.
Apparently we got a gift from Ocelot, and that's all the time we got back. So we're going to go ahead and send it back over to Shocks at the desk. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Pyro. Ocelot wanted to make an appearance and give him a present for a great performance. And with that great performance, Perks is also our very first Spring Split player of the game, which you guys voted for on Twitter. And I feel like that's a pretty solid choice.
I agree with all the viewers, and I also drafted him first in my fantasy league here,
did
and
I.
I'm already winning, so it's actually a great start.
It is, and it's an even better start because we have someone new here on the desk. I'd like to introduce one of our newest additions to the broadcast, Maurice Amazing Stuckensnyder. Very happy to have you. And well, let's dive straight into our pregame analysis for the next game, as we're going to take a first look at Vitality and H2K. These are two teams that have a lot of new faces going into the new season. So many that out of the 10 we saw on the Rift last year, there's only one returning, and that's Cabochard. But he's not on H2K, and I do want to start by talking about H2K because they are a team that really overhauled their entire roster coming into 2018. We can see it there. Smitty J, Santorin, Cadril, Sheriff, and Promiscu is what they decided to come up with. So what are the expectations for this roster? They're putting their faith in the rookies.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how far they can go, but I definitely think that the group of players that they accumulated now is really interesting because they do have a lot of talent. But what I'm looking for and what I'm really interested in is how Santorin actually is going to play in EU again, because he's been blamed for so many losses, like in terms of TSM, like he was the NA Ward, the original one, and like I actually think that he's really, really talented. He's mechanically good. He's a system player, but he's really good at integrating schemes of coaches into the games and keeps his teammates accountable. And the last time he met Gilius, he actually destroyed him in CS. So I'm eager to see if he can actually transition that into EU now.
Well, I'm actually happy that there's someone taking a stand for Santorin, because usually the reflex you have looking at this roster is, oh, Smitty J, oh, Santorin. In the last year, it's not like they won any great trophies, right? So it's good to have kind of a different voice because they're going to have to lead these rookies. So are they then the key to the success of H2K, Cadril and Sheriff?
I mean, I think if you look at the fact that Cadril is now the mid laner on this team and Sheriff is the AD carry, like they have to be really good if H2K wants to make playoff and if H2K really wants to make a big splash in the EU LCS. Especially Sheriff is one of the guys that we have to talk a lot about because he's a very mechanically gifted player, but he's very young. He's obviously very new to the professional scene, and he needs the big veterans like Santorin, like Promiscu around him to guide him and teach him the basics of competitive League of Legends. And if they can do that, a guy like Sheriff can actually shine.
It sounds like to me that that's like a project which is going to take some time.
It should take some time, yes.
Well, we'll see what happens on the other side of the Rift. Also a team that's put a lot of faith into rookies, H2K's opponents. Vitality. Vitality, honestly, they've struggled to make it to the top of the EU LCS over the past couple of years. And it's nice to see that they're starting with some fresh talent. So much even that the Physio said in our preparation, this is the most exciting set of rookies since Misfits. So what makes you say that?
I mean, if you look at the fact that it is 4 former Giants members on this team now, so they already have built-in synergy between Gilius, Jizuke, Minitrupex, and Jacktroll, that's first of all very important when you have a bunch of new guys, a bunch of rookies who needs to get used to playing on the big LCS stage. The second thing is the confidence these guys have. Like Minitrupex, the first Portuguese player in the LCS, ready to talk some smack, you know, ready to work super hard and show he actually is better than some of the other rookie AD carries coming in. That competition and that fire, I think really will benefit a Vitality lineup who's been used to just kind of reusing some old names.
Yeah, but like this confidence they have had in the CS especially is something that I'm interested if it can actually transition into the LCS, because for me, confidence usually comes with a lot of emotion, and that emotion can go into the other direction too, where if the success is not coming in anymore, maybe they have a couple of rough patches or games where they don't play as well as they should, how the personalities on the team will actually react to that kind of pressure coming in. Because I know Gillis, I know Covershard, they really like to bump heads. So I just want to see if they can avoid tilting and play well on the LCS stage continuously.
I also just want to see them coming to this first game here and just like show something really aggressive early on, because I mean, Gilius has been tweeting, I think, 10 tweets just today about how everyone is going to get destroyed. Yeah. And then we want to see his first game where he's on point and he's not losing to H2K, because if you can talk that much smack, you also got to deliver on stage.
Got to put his money where his mouth is. We'll see. A lot of questions around Vitality, and it'll also be interesting to see what H2K can do this game. Let's see what their coach Veteran has to say.
Hello everyone, I am here with Veteran, the coach of H2K. Obviously, before we start, I want to say good luck today. I hope you guys have a great performance on the stage.
Thank you.
You're back with H2K now, Veteran. You were with Schalke for a little while. What's made you choose to come back to H2K?
Yeah, so H2K always had like an upper management staff that I really trusted and I really got along with, and they kind of understood where I wanted to go with my vision for a team always, and they've always been very supportive about that, even back when I was an analyst on H2K. And so that whole rapport is what I really came back to H2K for. I think they're one of the best in the business.
It's very interesting to hear that, because a lot of people look at the current H2K roster after seeing H2K challenge for playoffs for a while and say it's probably a step down from what we expect from them. What is it that actually made you pick this set of 5 players?
Sure, so I knew that immediately I wanted to work with Smitty and Cagel again. I think that they are exceptional solo lanes and they're exceptional voices in the game. People definitely underrate, it's not exactly something that the public would know, how much certain players attribute to communication, or contribute to communication, I should say. And Smitty and Cagel have always been very decisive players on stage games. Smitty is very extensively knowledgeable about the map. He's very good at making those types of calls, and both of them are very decisive in team fights, whether ahead or behind. We're not a team that's ever going to be like slowly losing the game from behind. I know that for a fact once I'd secured these 2 players. Sheriff, very talented rookie AD. Previous AD I worked with was Upset, obviously, so I was always scouting solo queue for these types of AD players. And Sheriff definitely fits into the mold that I believe a strong rookie AD player should have if he's going to go forward and do well. He needs game knowledge added to it, obviously, but I think he's surrounded with some very knowledgeable people in Smitty and Cagel.
I want to ask you about the other 2 guys that you haven't mentioned yet, though. Santorin and Promiscu, who used to be Spruttle, of course. They're 2 players that perhaps many people look at and say they're not at the sort of LCS level that we'd expect.
Okay, so when it comes to both those players, I interviewed a lot of players, a lot of whom have made it into the LCS on other teams for both of those positions. When it came to these 2 more supportive positions, the mechanical difference between players was actually not really like that huge, so it more came down to in interviews I would challenge them on what I thought their flaws were, and I would gauge how their reactions were to it. With Sprattle particularly, I immediately asked him, first question out of the bat, where do you think you have improved, and do you think it was significant? And I asked this to a lot of other supports who had been, like, you could say, veterans of the scene as well. Sprattle gave the best answer for sure to this specific question, and when it comes to actually breaking down where he thinks he's good and where he thinks he needs to develop, he could be very specific. There were not a lot of players who could be specific on the same way as him. I could see he was looking at the right things and looking for the right ways to improve. Some of the people that he cited that he learned from, for example, Yellowstar, I had very high praise for. And the things that he had been taught from them, things more to focus on, gave me like a lot more hope than for a lot of other supports that I'd been talking to at the time.
That's really good to hear, Veteran. Good luck again today. Excited
about everything Veteran said there. Seems like he has a lot of confidence in this H2K roster.
Oh,
A
yes.
lot of people in the community have had questions, but there is definitely some promising talent there. We're soon going to get started with picks and bans. But on the blue side this game, we've got H2K, a roster that we just have to run through. You heard it from Veteran himself, but let's take a chance to look at it. Of course, coming in on the top lane for these guys, it is Smitty J, Jungle, Santorin, mid lane Cadril, AD carry Sheriff, their support Promise Q, not Spraddle anymore, and Coach Veteran.
And they'll be going up against Vitality, the confident rookies on the red side this game, with top laner Caboshot, their jungler Gilius, mid laner Jizuki, the Italian Stallion, AD carry Mini Trupax, the Portuguese God, as I've been told, and support Jack Troll, along with a familiar face in Coach Yamato Kan.
And what excites me the most, I mean, you've got the first Italian player, you've got the first Portuguese player, and I love how many people are coming out to show support for their teams, for their family, for their friends. Jack Troll has got his family here. You got one gentleman in the crowd with a Jack Troll sign, with a Vitality sign ready to go.
That's
lot
the
of
thing
support. I love it. Absolutely love it. You got to love it when these new guys hit to the stage, when they get so much support from the community.
And when we cast some of these guys back in the Challenger Series back in 2016, and players like Jizuke, just the Italian fans love it. They love the way he plays. He's extremely confident. Mechanically, he's very strong, and he did a lot of great things, but now he makes his debut to the LCS.
Yeah.
Arguably, people always say you're playing with the big boys, but you start with a rookie in the form of Cadril on the other side. Now, Cadril, he played for Schalke last year as their mid laner. They were the team that were able to qualify behind Giants. These two have already met before. There's already a bit of bad blood, and now they're in slightly different environments. They're with slightly different teams, and now they get to show once again the skills that they've developed.
And I just want to see, because Challenger teams come in so many varieties when they come to the LCS. They are either the gods, they are the misfits, they are the G2s that rise up to the top immediately, or they are the team that struggle. Is Vitality going to show us something new? Are they going to be one of the rising teams? And the same could be said for H2K. How is their rookie talent going to do? We're going to find out. So we're into picks and bans. Shen taking off the board. Vitality responding with Alistair. A lot of engage options being taken off the board.
So earlier in the day, we did see the Shen banned away by G2. Feels like that this is becoming a big, important ban for a lot of the teams in Europe. Sejuani already demonstrated the power that she has, so that's going to be taken off the board as well. A lot of mid laners were banned earlier in the day, and so far none of them have been taken away. A bit of respect being shown to Santorin. In my picks to watch, I talked a little bit about Eve, and it seems that Vitality is saying, you know what, we don't want to run the risk of playing against that. So it seems like the big four mid laners are going to be up and available for this game.
Gilius looking to play a different jungle style. Rengar also banned. Heard amazing on the desk talking about Santorin is the human ward initially. Those are not human ward champions. Those are kill people champions, and it looks like Santorin may have mixed up his strategy. What's been seen in scrims. Gilius looking for a little bit different jungle matchup, but that means H2K perfect access to the Kalista. Ezreal still up and available though on the side of Vitality if they want to go for the other powerhouse AD carry.
Not a surprise that we see the immediate Rise answer along with the other big jungle pick that we've seen a lot in the LCK. Usually banned away is the Jarvan. Has early game presence, has mid to late game presence, all around fantastic jungler that offers engage, damage, and a lot of utility, and synergizes very nicely too with the Rise that Vitality have already picked themselves up.
See if they can lock him in the Thunderdome. Nice to have against the Kalista, even if she can't pierce her way out of the Cataclysm. Well, you wanted to take away some aggressive junglers. Unfortunately, there are just too many in the meta. Kha'Zix, another scaling threat, absolutely insane damage if you get isolated for even a moment. See what Santorin can do.
Very good draft right now for H2K, locking in the Braum. Over in the LCK, we've seen a lot of priority on getting an early Shen, and then the Braum is often an answer. And if you, sorry, not Shen, Tahm Kench. And if you see the Tahm Kench locked in, Braum is an effective answer. And H2K is saying, look, we expect that to come out from you, so we're going to get ourselves a comfort support earlier.
Look, there's a lot of power picks here. Vetius. Last game we saw 4 mid laners banned.
We did.
Malzahar, Azir, Zoe, Rise now picked, but H2K have their pick of the litter. They can take whatever they want. And that was our format, best of 1, as a reminder. Now as we enter the second ban phase, you have to wonder, is Team Vitality going to take some of these champions away, or is Jizuki just comfortable playing into anything?
You would imagine that things like the Azir and potentially the Malzahar would be banned away from the side of Vitality to try and pinch that pool a little more, given that right now the only difference is between AD carry and mid. Now for H2K, you would imagine that they ban things away like the Cog. Oh, they've already banned away the Cogmore. My apologies.
Ezreal?
Like the Xayah, Tristana, Ezreal, all big AD carry champions that right now in the current meta are very strong.
And one of the things I like about taking Kalista away, prioritizing it over a pick like Ezreal, is we know Mini Trupax is known for those style champions. He likes to play the lane bullies, he likes to play the dominant pick, so despite Ezreal very often being considered such a strong pick, not being banned away here, instead they're focused on things like the Tristana. Azir has now followed as well, but Malzahar is still up and available.
To me, this kind of feels like Vitality are saying, you know what, we're fine with you playing the Malzahar. If we have a Jarvan, we think that out of these 3 mid-lane champions that are left, we think Malzahar is the easiest one to punish, easiest one to find that engage upon. But when you're going up against a Tahm Kench 2, you can just gobble up whoever the Malzahar ult is.
Gonna make it a lot more difficult to play the fight. Varus also taken away, running out of lane dominant 80 carries. May have to play something a little bit more passive in the early game.
I feel like Ezreal would be absolutely fine here right now. You've already got a lot of teamfight damage in the form of Ryze. You have a bit of laning power with the Ezreal. With the Kleptomancer, you get a very early Trinity Force, and around the world, many top teams consider Ezreal to be that S-tier 80 carry that you want to get your hands on if he's available.
Now H2K have to round out their composition, however. They are looking for a top laner
throwback.
and a mid laner.
So this is a bit of a reference to Kadril, who back in the day, when I used to play against him in the UK scene, Twisted Fate used to be one of his go-to mid laners. I can't imagine he's going to bring it out now. I imagine that he may go for something a little unique like the Cassio if he wants to try something a little different and an old-school matchup that we did see a lot of last year.
Cassio Ryze, see if they opt for the phase rush, what they'd want to go for, but still hasn't been locked in yet. Smitty J taking the Gnar. Relatively safe blind pick up towards the top side of the map. Also makes it difficult to comfortably pick that Cho'Gath. However, the last of the power picks has been locked in. Kadril not going to offer anything spicy. Just going to stick to the classics in the 8.1 meta.
Feels like a very current meta standard composition that we've seen quite a variety of around the world. The Kalista, very mechanically intensive, going to give Sheriff a good opportunity to showcase his power. And Vitality, they don't want to lock in a tank against the Gnar. They want to try and match that split push early laning prowess. And it looks like that they're going to invest into a bit of a carry for Cabashard in the top lane.
Hold on, I'm waiting, Vidius. I don't believe it. Jace for Cabo. This is the #1 question we ask every time we see Cabo get on the stage. When is Gambit Cabashard coming back? When are we going to see the guy who absolutely dominated the top lane return? And if he ever wanted to make a re-emergence into the EU LCS as a powerhouse top laner, this is a champion to do it on. This is redemption.
He's going to be joined by Gilius, the man who has been vocal prior to coming to the LCS saying that he's coming back to take it all. And what better way to do that than with champions like the Jarvan, like the Jace, looking to try and play around so many different lanes. Probably not the bot lane, because Ezreal Tahm Kench. But when you look at the Ryze and you look at the Jace, there are so many. The top half of the map is a great opportunity for him to get those early snowballs and start that early lead.
And I love this, Vedius, as we get ready to get in the game. I love that neither team has 100% true tank. You got Tahm Kench, yes, kind of tanky support, not going to have the most items. Jarvan, yes, kind of tanky, still builds some AD. Gnar, not 100% a tank. Braum, not 100% a tank, doesn't have enough items. So that means both these teams are vulnerable. Both these teams are heavily reliant on finding the right setup. Both these teams deal so much damage.
Spicy team fights, Dracos.
That's all I want, Vedius.
It's all we want. A play-by-play's dream. And I'm looking forward to seeing what these two 80 carries can do. Mini Trupax, he's a player that, to be fair, actually hasn't had that much hype around him, but when you look at his performance during the Challenger Series, he was actually a more lane-dominant player than the likes of Upset. And today, he's going to try and demonstrate his stuff.
Now gearing up, going toe-to-toe with Sheriff, a player not a lot of people know a lot about. Solo Q All-Star, bit of time in Turkey as well. As we get ready for the game, I think the bot lane and the mid lane got to be ready for some explosive action there. But at the same time, when you go into a game with Gilius, I mean, you have to watch. It's hard, Vedius. It's hard is what I'm trying to say. How do you pick where to watch when there's Gilius in the jungle and two rookies going toe-to-toe in the mid and bottom lane?
Oh, I get fired up, Dracos. I'm ready. I'm ready to see the excitement. I'm curious as to where Gilius is going to invest his time. Santorin as well is another player that we want to keep our eyes on with the Kha'Zix. Typically not the strongest in terms of early game ganking, but as you said earlier in the day, scales very nicely, has a lot of damage. If he finds that G4 in the jungle, he can put a lot of pressure onto him, but I don't know if he's going to have those pushing lanes to really take advantage of that kind of early invade playstyle.
And Jace is one of these picks that I have such a love-hate relationship with when we look at the top side of the map. Take a different perspective. Because on the one hand, when Khan plays Jace, the champion looks unstoppable, broken, should be nerfed every single game. Now, when NA and EU play Jace, sometimes it looks good, and sometimes you go 0-7 in lane. And so I want to see what shade of that we're going to see. If Cabo can be that lane-dominant Jace that everyone expects a Jace to be when it is picked in competitive play, or if he's just going to go even in the top lane with Smitty J early on.
Well, we need to give the fans at home a bit of an update. H2K having a couple of audio issues with regards to in-game sounds. IT already on the job, and they're looking to fix that as quickly as possible. Happens again, we have a lot of rookies coming to the LCS stage today, and they're likely just want to make sure that they're comfortable on stage and that they can perform optimally.
There's Jack Troll on your screen, smiley, good moods. Gotta wonder what the nerves are like for some of the younger players here, how they're feeling about the stage. You know, Cabo and Gilius, absolutely calm. The same is probably true for Smitty J, Santorin, Promise Q on the opposite side. Excited to see what Santorin does. It would be nice to have a good reputation for NA exports here in Europe.
Yeah, you have a better win record. Wait, what does that say about EU if he does better over here?
Dang.
What I really love is that we still have this music going on while looking at his issues being resolved. You know,
guys, this is the most intense audio issue of all time. It's like those cartoons you used to watch as a kid, like Digimon, where they go inside a computer world. That's what's happening right now to fix the audio.
Yeah, they're going on a magical adventure, which will hopefully not last too long. H2K, we have talked a lot about Vitality, H2K. Sheriff is a player that I'm looking forward to seeing, because I don't really know I really don't know much about the individual. I've heard positive things. I've heard he's good. We heard from Veteran that he has a lot of confidence and he thinks that out of the 80 carries that he interviewed and looked at, he thought this guy has a lot of potential. He has the ability to become one of the top ADs in Europe because he has that kind of mindset. He has the skill. And whether he's that on day one or whether he takes time is what we want to evaluate. How strong is he going to come in right off the get-go?
Well, that's a big thing, too, because he's picked up Kalista, right? And while he does have a Kha'Zix, a Malzahar, and a Gnar, he does not need to be a massive damage source for the team, right? This is still a kind of champion where you kind of need to dominate lane. This is a champion that is built to dominate early on in the game, can have so much teamfight impact, the ultimate as well, a crucial ability to use at the right time. So they haven't put all of the pressure in the world on him. This is not a protect the Kog'Maw style composition, but it is still some pressure on Sheriff in his first game on a big stage like this. And for guys like, you know, Jizuki, Mini Trupax, Jack Troll, they have at least a little bit of experience here. The same, not quite as true for Sheriff.
We do have to say, though, that this composition from H2K can be rather challenging to play because you look at the engage that they've built for themselves, and a lot of it comes from either the ultimate from Sheriff to throw Braum in and then he uses his ulti, or you rely on the ultimate from Smitty J on the Gnar, the Mega Gnar form, getting that multi-man knock-in, and then the damage comes out from players like Santorin, Kadril, and Sheriff. And it's not as straightforward, as simple as G2's comp earlier in the day where you just press R and everything begins. There is a little more intricacy. You have to be patient. You have to think about it. And it'll be fascinating to see how this combination of both rookies and veterans are able to come together and make this slightly more challenging composition work for them.
See who's going to step up as a leader, who's going to step up as a carry, who's going to get those resources from the jungle. Now, wouldn't the most anticlimactic thing be if Gilius farmed for 20 minutes?
That would be hyper anticlimactic, especially if the rest of his team did everything and then he tweets afterwards, told you.
You scared yet, Santorin? It's 30 minutes, I'm coming out of my jungle. Probably not.
Probably not. But other things we can talk about, a lot of champions that are different once again have been picked up. Things like the Ezreal, likely going to be the Kleptomancy build. And we've seen a lot. The main reason why it's so strong is because you get a lot of extra gold, you get a lot of extra items in lane, it gives you that additional power, and you think, okay, early on, Ezreal still has those weaknesses of he doesn't trade especially well, a lot of his abilities are skill shots, which obviously can miss, his wave clear isn't great, but when he comes back at 12 minutes with his Trinity Force, oh, funnily enough, he trades pretty well, he's surprisingly strong,
and that's
just that extra bit of gold.
His Kleptomancy feels so strong, Vedius, but it's only good on two champions. It's good on Gangplank, it's good on Ezreal, right?
And maybe Allow. Debatable.
All right, man, when we see an Allow, we can bring that up, all right? We're still waiting on it.
Speaking of, we actually haven't seen that much Gangplank so far in the European scene, which we saw a lot of over in
LCK, LPL, yeah, for sure. Now, of course, as an update, audio has been fixed. We're just getting some mic levels adjusted. We should be into game shortly. Double-checking, confirming everything, making sure that once we're in that game, we're not going to take you out of the zone. as best we can.
Yeah, so make sure you guys, it's your last opportunity to go grab a drink, grab a snack. We're in our second game of the day. Vitality versus H2K. Bit of a battle of the rookies is what we're very much looking at between these two teams. And a big debut for a lot of these players as well. So a lot of exciting stuff coming towards us very, very soon.
What hypes me up so much about these teams is kind of the different stories, right? H2K complete rebuild this year. I want to see how they're going to do. Are they still going to be that top team in Europe? And Vitality, they came in swinging in their first split in the LCS, but they have struggled ever since then. This is their first really big rebuild too in what feels like a long time, right? Where they have so many new members. The only old part that they're keeping is Cabochard, believing still in him as this, you know, kind of one of the biggest French top laners outside of course, SOAS. And I just want to see what it's going to look like.
And they talked about it on the desk before we jumped into picks and bans, which is very much that Vitality, they picked up a brand new roster rather than trying to rehash the old one that, in all honesty, it just wasn't working out. They tried a couple of new players. We saw a wide variation in players like Joko and Hachani, and to be honest, a lot of them didn't work. So instead, they're going to find a team that's true and tested.
But people want to see League of Legends, Vedius.
Yes, they do.
And I have good news, folks. It's time for some League of Legends. Clap. There you go. Yeah, there it is. Thank you, audience. No! Well,
You tried.
I really...
You tried. Again, just
Hard to recover from that one. That was a hard sell on my part.
Just want to remind everyone that when you have rookies on stage, they're getting used to everything. There's a lot of changes that you have to adapt to, and these things do happen. So we're working through them as quickly as we can. In the meantime, you'll be listening to our smooth, sultry voices.
And the original Hawkeye six-pack. And veteran. There you go. Hi, veteran.
That was the best cut ever.
Right, as we say Hawkeye six-pack, bam, veteran. Veteran might have a six-pack too, I don't know. Well,
Smitty J returning to the LCS.
yeah, I'm excited about this guy because when he was on Giants, if you remember, if you look back to the Giants era where it was the Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity. We did a hand sign, you can't see it. Smitty J, Max Lore, Knight.
Yes.
Those are good times for that roster. And I'm wondering...
Third during the regular season.
Yeah, really good. Struggled in playoffs, fell apart. We're not well equipped for those best dubs. But I'm wondering if we can get a similar action coming in here from Smitty J, Santorin, and Kadril. If they can be a top side focused team, they can kind of just crush via the top side of the map.
Well, that's the interesting thing because it also ties in with how does Santorin look to play, because there is that reference towards Santorin of not being a very active jungler, focusing very much toward the vision and not really playing a huge part in the team's success. But when you have so much new potential and you know that Smitty J, he can perform at a high level, we heard it from Veteran himself. He says he has confidence that this is not a team that if they fall behind will just slowly lose. They're willing to be proactive. They're willing to try and make stuff happen. And with the likes of Promiscu and with the likes of Santorin, let's see. Let's give them this opportunity to see how much they've grown.
I want to see exactly how this is going to come together. A lot of questions, as there always is with some of these newer teams. And this time, we're playing League of Legends. We kept it off screen for 5 seconds so we wouldn't have to tease you guys again. I apologize for missing out on that 5 seconds, but now we are
You nailed it.
It is a game of League of Legends.
We've got Pink Kha'Zix already on the board.
And now for the segment I like to call League of Stopwatch. Let's check how many there are. That's 5. Potential 10. Not a great score.
5
but
stopwatches. So there's a lot of inspiration right now going on across the board.
I feel inspired.
We will get info on the runes a little bit later, and we can run through them, have a bit of a chat about them. But something we can be fairly confident on is that Jizuki on the rise. Commonly throughout the world, we have seen a high priority on the inspiration. We see that Jizuki actually running Ignite in the mid lane on rise. That is very unique. That feels like a very Italian stallion kind of play style. Wants to try and make a name for himself, and later on into the game he will change that out for something like the teleport or maybe even the ghost, depending on how he wants to play.
Yeah, of course. So the standard leash coming in, although top side going to be, this is more of the standard that we've seen recently with the top laner helping. Bottom side, this is the classic solo Q leash. Jarvan set up now to play around the top side of the map and back up that Jace, which is exciting. We talked a lot about Cabo already.
Yeah. The combination between Gilius and Cabo is one that we have to keep our eyes on because he is playing the Jace. I feel like against Anar, he doesn't necessarily have to snowball this lane. It's not one that they have to play through, but whoever gets this side lane advantage is going to mean a lot for the later game because you're always going to have that split push pressure and split push advantage, which is only going to get worse for both the Anar and the Jace depending on how the early game plays out.
Now Jizuki taking that level advantage. Hasn't used the Ignite quite yet, but definitely is pushing in. Kadel knows he has to play back. Gilius clearing out the bottom side, moving to the top side. And, yeah, has some strong words, as you mentioned earlier. Vitality is taking over from today on. H2K is scared and unprepared and about to get a reality check. Sadly, Mini Trupax actually the one to get a reality check here on the bottom side of the map. Sheriff coming in strong on that Kalista level 2.
So strong, confident words, as expected from Gilius. If nothing else, it may very well agitate H2K. Perhaps that's what he wants. He wants to get a bit of a rile up of his opposition, as we did see a bottom lane trade going heavily in the favor of Sheriff. And you mentioned this, Kalista, all about lane dominance, all about trying to build those lane advantages due to her high ability to trade. And it looks like that both her and Promise Q are going for the overheal sort of playstyle in the bottom lane. The double Radic shield, high investment in a bit of extra early gold, a lot of shielding, a lot of safety, and punishing the low early wave clear, and really trading power of Mini Trupax.
Interesting here. As you look to the top side of the map, we saw Kha'Zix move up, ready for the counter gank in the event that Gilius decided to go through the lane. Gilius may have seen this coming, opted instead to take the Raptors. So is a little bit ahead in terms of clearing the jungle right now. Only one camp remaining to the 2 camps that stand on the side of Santorin. He can head back down to the top side, but there is a little bit of vision there to stop anything from happening. They can go for a dive here. Very difficult. Mininar very squishy, but has the hop, can just kind of Goomba stomp his way out of any negative situation.
Keep your eyes on Santorin. He's in the bottom half of his jungle right now. That's a big minion wave. Vitality, they're going to gamble. TP from Jizuke.
All in on this play. Smitty J potentially in trouble. Keep your eyes. Where's the footwork going to go? Rise is here as well. A lot of damage onto Gilius. He's going to start to take the tower. Good damage comes in. TP back in response. First blood drops for Vitality. No hope there for Smitty J.
Gilius starts off the game strong. We talked about how typically he is that early game jungler. He wants to get things rolling. And we talked about how the combo of him and Cabochard could be where they look to invest those early kind of plays. And they've already set up Cabochard for success. So let's see what happens. Baron, look at the summoner spells here. You can see initially the Rise has the Ignite, but at base, he swapped it for the TP. He then makes this play happen on the top side. Malzahar tries to do the same by swapping the Cleanse for the TP. He isn't able to get there in time, and that means that with the burst from Vitality, they're able to very quickly pick up an early kill.
And that's so awkward if you're Kadril. Swap out a summoner spell, immediately use it for no effect there. So pure advantage over to the side of Vitality. Jizuki does not lose anything because there's no Malzahar in lane.
Look at Jizuke. Man. They have still vision around this area. The minion wave is just coming up. This could slow the push down. Jizuke, he's going to hold the wave.
It's point and click CC. This is the absolute nightmare of any player that's ever played this game. He's moving in. Good damage comes down. Smitty J hopping out to safety. Rise still taking the tower. Is Jizuki going to go down? Cabo grabbing a kill. Jizuki still alive. Strong start from Vitality.
Smitty J is being shut down in the early game. Veteran talked about how Smitty J was a big core, someone you could always rely on, and Vitality is saying, we don't want to give him that opportunity. We want to put him behind and set Cabo up for success.
And a lot of confidence here. Most people coming into this game would have said, hey, if we're trying to, shut anybody down, let's shut down the rookies. Let's shut down the new blood on stage. Instead, they're shutting down one of the most veteran members of the team. Making it look pretty easy, too. Just clean combos coming in.
Notice how Jizuke here is the one tanking the tower. He takes advantage of the shield. He knows he still has his flash available, and he'd rather burn his flash rather than Cabo's. And the confidence, the happiness, Vitality, they are not afraid.
That is the strength. That is the reliability of an Italian stallion right there.
Oh, yes.
Bringing it in clutch. Good plays across the board. Jizuki and Gilius coming up to help out the top laner. Cabo clearly a focus for the squad. However, Santorin is here, ready to go in.
Pings have come down from Vitality. They are aware of a jungler presence. Gilius making his way down, who will also get spotted on a ward.
Leap to safety. Well played. A lot of the early aggression that Santorin was trying to get off there is getting shut down. Jizuki still playing with a lot of confidence in the mid lane. Does get a bit harder now that level 6 has come out from the Malzahar. No cleanse available for Jizuki. We'll have another shard to swap summoner spells. Actually, cleanse wouldn't do anything against Malzahar anyway. I don't know what I'm talking about. Classic mistake. So, wouldn't have been good.
Level 6 now.
Level forward. K-Troll has ult, maybe trying to bait it out, but Jack Troll's right there, and they know they can play aggressive. Good team synergy coming in.
All right, still have to wonder about this Malzahar pick because we talked a lot about it, how it felt Vitality were baiting this pick to come out. We know that Ryze is absolutely fine into this matchup. Not only does he have early push, but it's very easy to lock him down and burn through his passive as well. And in the mid to late game, you're looking at this and being like, well, okay, how is this going to work out against Tom Kent? You can just literally gobble up whoever you're trying to ulti and effectively make one of his greatest strengths very inefficient.
Irrelevant, yeah, not
Exactly.
a factor.
That's the word I want.
In the fights. The one thing we have to talk about, H2K, this is still a new team, a new lineup. These guys are figuring out how to play together. But the same is not really true of Vitality. Cabo, actually the longest member of Vitality, but the newest member of this team in their own way. We have to remember, if you look back, this was 4 out of 5 members of the Giants Challenger roster that qualified for the LCS. Vitality said, hey, we like that. We're going to take that, we're going to add in Cabo, we're going to make a new team, and you can see just how dominant they were over the course of the Challenger Series and the promos. These guys actually took down Schalke in a 5-game series, towards the old Schalke lineup, but they played incredibly well together. They've dominated so many tournaments, so you can expect kind of this level of team play, but to see Cabo now fitting into that, just a good look for Vitality.
And this is why we heard on the analyst desk why DeFischer was excited for this roster. This looked very similar to how Misfits did when they came into the LCS back in 2017. Now, that's not to say that they're going to be as good, but that potential, the raw power that you saw from the Challenger Series, how well does it translate from going up against Challenger teams to other LCS teams?
Smitty J right now, he's in a bad place. That's a 30 CS lead for a Jace.
Ouchies.
He's building lethality. It'll be a Yomu's or a Duskblade for sure to follow. And once he gets that, should be able to cut through Smitty J. Double Doran's item, not always the strongest look. Santorin now knows that he has to back him up, but if he's too eager to go to the top side to support, another lane may lose out as Gilius is already in the mid lane. Santorin with the Evolve are first, so Void Assault improved. We'll get the stealth every time he enters a brush.
And just look at the vision investment from Vitality in the top side of the map. We talked in the draft about how it wasn't really worth playing around bot side because it's Ezreal and Tahm Kench. There's not really a lot of lane setup, and it's also very difficult to gank a Kalista Braum lane. Instead, play towards where there's a lot of damage. And it looks like right now that Vitality, they're looking for an engage.
Moving forward, flag and drag, Santorin caught no man's in. Flag forward, the Cataclysm, no hesitation, suppressed, stopwatch, but he's not going to buy enough time with that. Jizuki looking for the cleanup. Blast Cone going to take him to safety. Juking back and forth, Jizuki moving forward. I just heard him shout on stage. Looks like he might be able to clean up this kill, and he's gonna grab it. That's the double. Woo, baby!
Jizuki, 2-0-2 right at the start of the game. Just under 10 minutes. Vitality, they are not slowing down. Gilius recognizing top and mid are where we should play around. We know we have vision. We know we can force these skirmishes and fights. And they just seem to have no hesitation.
H2K need to figure out something here. This kind of snowball, maybe not something that they were ready for. They have decent scaling assets, but not going to be about scaling if Vitality can keep finding these kills. We'll look at it one more time, but such confident play coming in from the side of Vitality.
Yeah, so we can see here that Santorin just walked up, trying to get a bit of vision down in the enemy jungle, but then Vitality felt, you know what, we can just hard commit onto these two. We're going to kill that Malzahar. Early game, he's not going to do that much damage. And to be fair, with the assistance of Santorin, they were able to get the shutdown onto Gilius, but Jizuki just doing so much damage thanks to those early kills and gold that he picked up from the dives up top.
And that's the feel-good moment for Jizuki, because he fakes him out with the Realm Warp, making him think he's going to go up. He goes down, copies it out, and now he comes into lane just about even on items, except wait, got a QSS for free off the back of so many of these clutch plays. He is suffering in CS, though. Smitty J is going forward right into Cabo. Face first. The follow-up comes in from Promiscu. They're looking to land a little bit more. No hesitation. Flash forward from Sheriff. Gilius is there, but Cabo is set to fall. Gilius is next on the menu. Flag and drag. Takes him to safety. Good pickup for H2K.
Now, H2K, they pivot. They realize we're losing the top side of the map, so we have to make some kind of a change. Let's see if we can get Smitty J out of this awful matchup. And they commit so many resources into shutting down Cabo Shard. Flash is used, ultimates used, so many things expended to relieve some of the pressure that Cabo is exerting onto Smitty J.
If this play 100% works out for them, the 1-for-1 tower trade on top of getting a Rift Herald, it'll absolutely be in their favor. H2K finding a quick way back into the game, not content to just get snowballed on, to just get run over here by this rookie lineup.
Yeah, we'll be able to pick up the Rift Herald as well, so they can look to try and set up a play around the mid lane. But losing first tower against an Ezreal Tahm Kench is really not what you want to do. I can acknowledge that H2K were forced into this situation. It's much better than doing nothing and just gradually losing the top side. We did hear from Veteran that this is not a team that just slowly loses. They want to be proactive. They want to try and make something happen. It feels like this H2K roster don't want to give up without a fight.
Cabo getting a little cheeky, moving forward, maybe hoping he can save the tower. Wouldn't be a poor choice in the end. Ezreal will come in and sweep up some of those creeps. Tower will drop. Extended trade, though, means that Vitality are able to grab the Mountain Drake in the meantime. That means 2 map objectives, traded for 2 map objectives in the end. Still advantage to Vitality, but Cloud Drake will make it a little bit easier for them to rotate.
And I love this constant trade of vision between the two teams, because while H2K sent 4 members up topside and warded around the red buff of Vitality, look at where all these red wards are from the side of Vitality in the bottom half of H2K's jungle. Warding up all of the entrances, recognizing, okay, we have control over this side of the map, we know we can take a safe Drake, and then we can look to constantly trade against our opposition.
Sets up Cabochard to push safely 2 on the bottom side. Ninja Tabby not going to be enough to stop the onslaught of damage that'll come in here. Of course, the rest of the team still playing around the top side. A lot of vision from H2K, not in the river, however, so they know Vitality are not in their own jungle, but aren't 100% confident where they are going to be. Have to keep your eyes on this Vitality lineup anytime they move forward. An interesting adaptation here, point out on the runes. Vedius, of course, Klepto for the Ezreal, nothing surprising, but we look at the opposition. Lethal Tempo comes in from Sheriff. Kind of a difficult rune to master when you get 2 or 3 attack speed items, but if you can put it to use, it'll be one of the first times.
I remember seeing it in the Kesper Cup come out from Deft, I believe, where he was a big advocate of this, where by passing the attack speed cap, it becomes so much easier to get all those stacks. And on Kalista, if you can play the champion effectively, you can get a lot of additional damage down, especially in these mid to late game fights. During the laning phase, it can have a lot of value as well, but it's very much playing around all the damage that you have on your Ren. So it'll be fascinating to see how Sheriff is able to take advantage of this. And it's great to see, Dracos, that we're not just relying on the overhill builds, we're constantly seeing over in LCK Europe. They're taking their own stance on it, they're being a little innovative, and they're saying, you know what, I prefer this playstyle, so I'm going to stick to it.
I still see 4 support items in the bottom lane.
Okay.
We're not the saviors of the meta here, Vedius, but
it's not all
to see innovation. Killia stepping forward. He's hungry, man. He wants to get in there. Lowering the health of the Rift Herald does mean that it's not able to take down the tower in one shot. Vitality managed to save that one. Good play. Takes all 5 members, but they're not going to lose the tower yet.
And mainly look at the difference in gold. You can see Vitality sitting at about a 2,500 lead, even though the tower's even, and it's because it's all sitting on top of Jizuki. This guy has had a fantastic early game. Rod of Ages already starting to stack. Still has the stopwatch, and now the team is starting to move up around him and see if they can get that mid lane tower down.
You still have to be careful playing around the Malzahar. Tahm Kench, he's not in position. Oh, Jizuki. Laughing on the LCS stage in his first game. That's some BM. Huh. Looks like Cabo has reported some FPS drops, so we'll take a look at that and hopefully get you back into game shortly.
I must say, he has quite the majestic beard and mustache.
Yeah, I'm actually really jealous. Took me like years to get a beard, and Cabo just stopped shaving for like a month, and he looks...
You know, I saw photos initially, and I was like, I don't know if I'm a fan, but I feel like that...
Did you see how it's twisted up?
Yeah,
it's a classic.
It's
classic.
He looks very classy. You know, I could see him in a nice suit. Looking
as a Portlander, he could move to Portland, man. He could be a good hipster.
Is that... Wait, is that what you do in Portland?
Yeah, a big beard. Beard, if he likes coffee and is really pretentious about it, and also craft beer.
Also
he's
Apple users.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he's on his Apple, would he twizzle the mustache? Is that what he would do?
I mean, you're describing a really specific scenario. Like,
I don't know. I want to learn more about the people in Portland.
And twizzling mustaches is important. You're like,
well, I've seen you twizzle your mustache.
Yeah, it's fun. All right. But that's not important, Vedius. Stop taking us off topic. It's my fault, too.
So what do you want to talk about, Dracos?
Well, I think the thing for me is I think we've been talking a lot about Vitality because they are... We didn't have insanely high expectations of this team coming in because we didn't know 100% what to expect in terms of how this team performed on stage, but they are transitioning very well. The other side for H2K, it does look like there are some struggles when it comes to early game communication, but at the same time, I can't say I blame them. A lot of people expect a very standard first game on stage. Vitality showed us something new, right? In the sense that they repeatedly dove top within the first 6 minutes of the game. And if you're Smitty J, you've probably been scrimming, and you've probably seen some of those scrims where everyone dies. you get 20 kills in 5 minutes and you FF and go next. But most of the scrims are probably calmer, a little safer, people figuring stuff out. So he's probably not prepared for this kind of strategy. I'm not going to call it cheese. It's an effective use of the resources Vitality have. But it's kind of understandable that H2K might suffer a little bit to this. The question now is, can they bring it back?
Well, I mean, just based on their composition alone, you'd have to think that we already talked about how difficult their composition is to pull out, because you look at the engage options that they do have, and you look at the scaling of their composition, and things like Kalista in the late game, I'd say kind of gets a little outscaled by the Ezreal, especially once he's gotten all the mana mune and he's got all these has the completed item set ready. Especially when you look, there's not actually that many tanks on the side of H2K, but we're gonna have to take a look at how the replay broke down in the top lane, and you can see SmittyJ very nearly loses his life, and Cabochard realizes, hang on, what is he doing? No, this is a bait, this is a trap. Flashes out as early as he can, but H2K, they've already hard committed. Multiple flashes were used, many ultimates were used to try and close the gap, and the intent was again to just get SmittyJ out of the side lane. They wanted to try and move that away and try and separate and open up the map a little bit more.
A good strike back, of course. Quick swap out for Cabo's PC. He was logging in. We are about to get into game, and by that I mean we are getting into game. Now, as we speak, should be unpausing. So quick swap out. Not going to take time to sort out the issue. Just get him a new computer. Get him back into game, see if he can keep up the pace he's been having so far, if the team wants to continue to support him, and honestly find out if H2K wants to keep shutting him down, if they want to match the support that Vitality was giving him early on now as we enter the mid-game, because it's still difficult. That is still a Duskblade Jace, Gnar, not comfortable.
Yeah, so let's look at the options that both teams have right now, because at this point in the game, you're looking to try and take the rest of the outer towers out, and obviously, if you're Vitality, that becomes a little easier because of the gold advantage that you have and your ability to force these dives and force these plays. So for H2K, they're a little on the back foot right now. They're looking to try and play as defensively as possible. What they do have is a fair amount of pick potential, especially when you utilize this Malzahar ultimate to catch unsuspecting targets out of position. But in order to do that, you need vision. And that's why right now, both junglers are investing very heavily in trying to gain control over the river. Both Santorin and Gilius are spending so much time getting these wards and control wars and making sure that they have control over areas of the map where they can look to try and punish the members of the enemy team that are moving to various lanes.
Kha'Zix's using the best, or using the stealth as best he can to move through the bushes undetected. We'll spot him out though, courtesy of that control ward as he does come out of stealth. But a lot of vision being cleared out here. H2K, a lot of confidence as they enter the enemy jungle. They see Jace on the bottom side. They know that this is their side of the map to control.
Yep.
As the observers are kind enough to highlight, no vision here for Vitality. They step 1 foot in that jungle, they're as good as dead. But they're not going to take the risk. H2K waiting around. Vitality not taking the bait.
You can see here, Jizuke, smart back, both Mini Trupax and Draktroll already in the lane, ready to catch it as Jizuke goes back, and then he can move over to the top side, spend a bit of his gold, decides not to pick up a control ward, tut-tut, and instead just going to collect that farm. Not risk running through an area of the map that they do not have vision.
Now, however, H2K taking a little bit of the priority they earned from invading and putting down vision. Moving forward, Sheriff wants it. He's not going to get it. They just have to check that tower health. Cast.
It is it is rather low. I want to say that it's at about 43 HP.
138. Not that low. Very much baited by the health bar. Would take at least 2 or 3 more autos.
Let's also take stock of some of the items, Dracos, because we've talked a lot about from the side of Jizuke specifically, but you can see that Mini Trupax going for what was known a while back as the blue build, largely because there's a lot of blue items. Iceborne Gauntlet has been picked up, which will help with sticking to enemy targets and dealing a fair amount of damage because you get the Sheen proc as well. Slight deviation from some of the Trinity forces that we've also seen from a lot of Ezreals. It just provides a little bit more utility, and we do know that, to be fair, there's a lot of other damage coming from the rest of the Vitality squad.
The slow really nice against Kalista, plus pairing with a Ryze, a relatively short-range mage. He's happy to have this long-range, soft CC so he can just walk in and point and click a target down. He's ready to go toe-to-toe with Santorin, though. Not scared of the isolated damage. Happy to kick things off. Is a very tanky Jarvan. Has to be careful, though. Kadril does have the Frost Queen's claim, so if he overextends, could be pretty easy to chase him down.
He's going to use the Flying Drive to get out right now. Both teams setting up for this Infernal Drake. Note that Jizuke has swapped back towards the Ghost. He has to walk now down towards the bottom side of the map. So H2K using the numbers advantage to get what vision they can. I say the numbers advantage. SmittyJ still in the bottom lane, but he has the teleport primed and ready to join if action were to happen.
These are the tense moments, Vedius, as we enter the mid-game. 2K gold lead for Vitality. 1-1 in the tower as a Dragon advantage as well. Ready to keep the fight. Flash over. How do you... Just canceled. Wait.
That was almost...
Cadril just canceled it. He has no QSS. There is no way for him to break the CC. Cadril just right-clicked again on accident.
And I heard the Vitality players laughing, and I was like, wait, I don't understand.
No, that...
But that was... Did he actually cancel it?
Yes, there's no other way to break the CC. Tom Kench didn't eat him.
Wow. Big misplay from Cadril. Now Vitality,
no, they got the here for the fight. The turnaround, though. Sheriff's ready to keep this one going. You can hear the laughter coming out. Vitality are having a field day with H2K. They get everything in the exchange.
Infernal Drake, double kill. Vitality, they're going for more.
Feels bad for Cadril. Running into enemy territory. Jizuki even going to flash forward. Just the icing on the cake as he grabs this kill. 2K gold lead. The grin on his face. The Italian stallion showing up.
And now Vitality have their eyes set on the mid lane tower. What a debut for Vitality. They wanted to start off with the early aggression. Usually, typically, during the Challenger Series, they would play through mini true packs. Gilius would spend so much time setting up the bot lane and for success. This time around, they're saying, you know what, mini true packs, we think you can hold your own. We think you can go toe-to-toe with the new rookie of Sheriff. And instead, we're going to try and set up Cabo for success. We're going to give him that opportunity of redemption. And so far on this carry, he's done a great job. The rest of his team has done a great job. But really, it's Jizuke that I'm looking at to be one of the primary carries of this team so far.
And, back in time, forward in time. All right, no replay. Hopefully get that one shortly. I want to see if the Malzahar just canceled the ult immediately. Confirmation for you guys. Otherwise, Vedius, Vitality are looking good. We know it. Anyone watching can see it. It's a 3K gold lead. On the other side for H2K, I'm starting to have some questions. Because how, as a rookie, even Cadril with so much experience, still count him as a rookie, obviously in the Challenger Series, how do you keep composed after a mistake like that? How do you keep it together? Because you're behind now. And if you're going to win this game, you're going to take some time. You're going to have to farm up. You're going to have to wait for a few more items. But Vitality don't look ready to give him that time. Gilius is coming in on the backside. They're not going to take the fight. They're just going to back off. Vitality will take the free prize and another tower and continue to extend their lead.
So to answer your question, this is where you rely on the experience of the veterans. You have to turn to them and they give you that confidence. Listen, we can still bring this back. You have to keep morale up. You have to give them confidence that, listen, it was just a misplay, a misclick, whatever it happened to be. Do not stress about it. Focus on what you can do for this game, because even though you're 0-2, even if you have a bad laning phase, you can still offer value to your team in the upcoming fights. As we see a play from Vitality.
Catch coming out. Shizuki just going to QSS that out. Cadril left all alone and getting taken out. Vitality are just picking individual members of the team and shutting them down one at a time. First it was SmittyJ, now it's Cadril.
Yep, and Cadril, he thought he was safe sitting behind the tower, but Vitality, they're utilizing Jatroll to move around the lanes, take advantage of out-of-position targets, and they're snowballing this gold lead even more. I love the proactivity of this Vitality roster. What a great way to kick off your split, looking so dominant in the early game.
And look at this, despite everything else, despite Sheriff having a lead in the lane, it's all falling apart. Mini Trupax is now so far ahead. The Kleptomancy, on top of his much higher CS number, big goal difference between them, and you would expect that Sheriff would have a little bit more. He's supposed to have the early game dominant champion, but Klepto gives so much gold, and the CS lead as well, Mini Trupax.
I mean, the problem that H2K had was, rather than... Oh, hang on, we have a replay. I'll get into that in a second. So we can see here, Cadril doing his best to farm, doesn't respect the possibility of a Tom Kench ulti moving to the top side. Bear in mind, there's no vision on the top side of H2K's map either. He can't see this coming in time, and he ends up losing his.
But let's be 100% clear here. There's no reason for Cadril to be there. Shizuki absolutely had that solo kill on his own.
I mean, quite possibly, right? But you got to share the love.
You got him to 200 health before Gilius EQ'd to take it. Now, I'm not saying that that wasn't the right choice for Vitality, just in case anything went wrong, but for Cadril, he just shouldn't have been there. Shizuki just ran him down, no hesitation.
He thought he could just clear out the wave, but instead he ends up getting punished. But I want to go back to when H2K made this swap up to the top side, because what they should have really done is invested harder into the bottom. They should have rotated Cadril, sent Santorin down, make TP plays, and try and snowball the bot side where they were winning during the laning phase. Instead, they tried to make up for the loss that they had rather than trying to push advantages elsewhere, and Vitality were quick to punish. They knew they still had a strong mid laner, they took him around the map, and now they're keeping off in a side lane and continuing the pressure as they set up around this Baron.
Jizuki still has stopwatch. Even if they commit multiple members to shut him down now, he gets out of jail once for free. He also has the QSS. Even if you Malzahn before he can stopwatch, he still gets out. This is such a difficult situation to be in. And Vitality, they know they have the lead. They know they have the advantage. They know that H2K are scared, and they are capitalizing as the Baron starts to fall.
Now we see Promiscu, he has come around, the TP coming in, and Mega Knot is available for Smitty J.
See if H2K can take the fight. They got the TP for free, however, small advantage for them. Achilles on the front line, you can see he's ready to start a fight. The moment he gets an opportunity, this is dangerous though, they are leaping to the backside. Just gonna make their way out. Vitality don't like being caught in the pit. H2K gonna take some time to clear out the vision, can't stop the Scuttle Crab, but at least they have stopped the Baron.
They get what they wanted though. The TP has been gone now from Smitty J. Vitality can take advantage of this from the fact that Cabo still has his, and already they've sent him off towards the bottom lane. Kadril also swapping out his TP for the Ghost, which means that is another Summer Spell that's not going to be available for H2K. And Vitality, they're just playing this slower now. Early game, all about diving, getting kills, snowballing this early lead. Now they're going to start playing it much more objective focus, set up vision around the Baron, bait the enemy team out into unfortunate situations, and put the pressure down onto this H2K roster, who is struggling against this new rookie lineup that Vitality have picked themselves up.
We're still waiting to see what Santorin can do. He's always been a little bit late to the party, hasn't really been a part of any action on the map outside of a single kill. But it's a huge confidence play coming from H2K. They have a Callista. This should be an easy steal. Gilius is here. Can he bring it home? They're committing. Moving lower and lower. It's moving forward, locking up the Callista, hoping to get the smite, but they're going to get it in the end. H2K managed to get the Baron. Gilius is in the middle of the team. Jack Troll gonna play hero to save him, but Smitty J throwing two into the wall. Gilius is still making his way out. Jizuki is unstoppable in the back line. Santorin now running. He's not gonna get anything else. They may have got the Baron, but they're losing everything else. Just enough vision to bring home the Promiscu. Makes it over the wall. Sheriff, oh no! This might just be the 4-for-0 in favor, and it is Vitality cleaning up.
I like the proactivity from H2K. They try to force the Baron when there's not enough vision from Vitality. They are able to secure it, but then Vitality say, you know what? You are not going to get away with this. Things looked promising at the start for H2K, but then Jizuki rolls on it. He stampedes his way through the H2K roster. They find the 4-for-0, and they're going to get themselves another tower.
5-0-6. First game on the LCS stage, first Italian. Italy must be proud, man. There's no way you're not with a performance like this. Domination for Jizuki and Vitality.
So let's see here. Gilius does his best to get onto the AD carry and jungler. He wants to try and disrupt, maybe get himself the smite steal. Unfortunately for him, there's too much burst. Jizuki then comes in from the flank, and just look at his damage. Slowly working his way through the roster. Good ultimate here from Smitty J, but unfortunately there's just not enough damage follow-up. And Jizuki's like, you're stuck in the pit with me, and I'm going to make sure you end up falling apart.
And it's tough. Sheriff almost makes it to safety. Has to auto-attack the Crux to make it out, and that means he can't recall comfortably.
Oh, they know. Vitality, they can see the plan from H2K, and they want to stop it in its tracks.
Oh no. H2K caught between a rock and hard play. Jizuki is still here in the middle of the team. He's gonna get knocked through the wall. Does still have the stopwatch, but has to be careful. He may not have a chance to make it out. Jack Troll can save him. Cabo in the middle of everybody, but many true packs. This might finally be his time to shine. He's on the backside, disengaging the fight for Vitality. They're not gonna push it. They're not gonna get aggressive. They're just going to back off and give the tower to H2K.
Yeah, good fight there for H2K. Kadril keeping Gilius off to the side meant that one of the big engage tools on the side of Vitality was unavailable. That means that Vitality can't commit to the fight, and now H2K, they're the ones with a single Baron on Kadril are actually able to get themselves 2 towers back.
For H2K, trying to make the most of this Baron on the single remaining member of Kadril. Are able to get a little bit back. And you have to respect that they're still making plays with a decent amount of confidence here despite being so far behind. I think we can attribute that to some of the veteran leadership on the team. The Baron call in the end does get them the Baron. Vitality quick to punish them. But H2K rather not going down 100% without a fight. Definitely a tough road if they want to get anything else. And honestly, waiting for Vitality rather to make a misstep before they get anything else.
Yeah, a lot of our extra items are being picked up on the side of H2K. Black Cleaver now done for Smitty J will help out in the side lane. Also completing the Randuin is going to make things a little easier against the heavy AD being built on Cabochard right now. Kha'Zix, his impact has been very minimal, and it looks like he's going to die.
Leaping out. Cataclysm actually going to lock Cabo in. I'm going to be able to follow Santorin, so we'll make it out to safety to leap. Doesn't even have to burn the flash at the end of the day. Just using the ult to make it to safety. Not nearly as bad as it could have been, but has to play careful. And Vetius, massive gold lead. 3 dragons. Earth, wind, and water. Not quite a funk hit, but it's something.
Gotta say, this Vitality roster has looked good. A lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement, and so far, they've been living up to it. No major mistakes, aside from the Baron, where they dropped the ball a little bit with the vision. They've played toward their objectives very effectively. They've kept H2K down. And you're now looking at this H2K roster and you're thinking, okay, they still have a decent amount of pick potential, their composition still has a fair amount of damage. K-Droll, even though he hasn't had the best game so far, is still at a very healthy amount of CS and has a decent amount of gold, level 16 as well. So it's not like H2K are completely out of this yet. With the Baron down, it also means that they can stall for even longer. And now you've got this Kalista on 3 items. And compared to the Ez, Kalista definitely going to be doing a lot less damage, but there are also a lot of squishies on the side of Vitality, which means that her damage is definitely going to have a lot more impact than, say, if you were fighting against a Cho'Gath and a Sejuani.
Definitely a little bit difficult here. At the same time, however, opportunities for H2K to stall, as you mentioned. Not a whole lot of siege potential on the side of Vitality. They'd have to commit to diving a tower. Decent poke comes in from Ezreal and Jace. Absolutely, you have to respect that. But no crazy long attack range. And really, enough wave clear probably coming in from the Gnar and the Malzahar to stop anything from connecting on those inhibitor towers. Big enough lead they may have to give up a tier 2. But the game isn't broken wide open quite yet. Still some opportunities for brilliance on the side of H2K if they can make a play to turn it back in their favor.
See, now at this point in the game, if you're Vitality, your main goal is to start pressing into the enemy jungle. And right now, H2K are doing a good job of defending their half of the map because of how well they're manipulating these side waves, and Vitality are failing to properly push all 3 lanes in at the same time, which is giving H2K this opportunity to move back into their own jungle and make sure that they're still gaining control of it. This is going to make things difficult for Vitality to effectively play around the Baron. And it's going to give H2K those slight opportunities as long as they maintain control. That's one of the most important things at this point in the game, just not conceding areas of the map and forcing you to make uninformed decisions.
We have to remember there are 3 veterans on the side of H2K, 4 if you count the coach. But this might help in these late game scenarios because for younger teams who played in the Challenger Series, it's often easy to play 0 to 20 minutes. They know that. They've experienced that. Experience every solo queue game is what they get to practice the most in scrims. But in the late game, in these close scenarios and those clutch situations, that's where you see veteran leadership really matter. Really be important to pull out a win.
Right now it's doing a great job, but H2K is still losing a lot of their camps, so the gold still starting to snowball even more in the favor of Vitality. 8,000 is definitely a big gap to close. So H2K, while on the back foot, and the Baron spawning in about 20 seconds. This is where their decision-making and their team fighting will really have to be miraculous if they want to still stand a chance in this game.
Flowers cannot afford to make a mistake here. Are moving forward to push, but Gilius is right beside them. Santorin going to walk to the brush. Gilius ready to go forward. The flash onto Tom Kench. No one there to save him, unfortunately. Cannot eat himself. Now they're moving for a little bit more. Gilius in the backside. Suddenly it's Jizuki in the back of the fight. Sheriff running for his life. H2K half managed to take the 1-for-1. Jizuki could be in trouble. How many can he kill before he goes down? He manages to take 1. Spinny J going for the CC. That's the double. He's making it out. Cabo now with the follow-up. Vitality are clearing through H2K. The triple for Jizuki. Will he get the quadra kill? Looks like Mini Truepax wants to bring it home. Nope! Rise gonna take it in the end. That is the ace for Vitality, and it may well be the game.
Quadra kill for Jizuki on his first performance here on the LCS stage. They had a convincing teamfight win over H2K. They're gonna take an inhib, and they may very well end the game right now.
3-17, closing it out with a 10k gold lead. It's gonna grow even more as they take these inhibitor towers. Even Jack Troll does not go down. Only Gilius falls. 1 for 5 in their favor. Their first game on the big stage. Italy, Portugal, gotta be proud.
the happiness and excitement on their faces. Gilius this week is able to back up his claims. Cabo looking revitalized, the rookies looking confident. This is why people are excited for this Vitality roster.
It's Yamato too, on stage, building a reputation for himself as he takes more and more rookies under his wing, builds them up to that LCS level. Have to wonder how much of this is his doing, how much of this is the team. It does not matter. In the end, however, as Vitality put out a commanding first performance.
And we gotta be honest, this game was the Vitality show. We did not get to see a huge amount from H2K. There's still a lot of room for them to show their stuff. This is only week 1. We're still looking at them and the potential that they have throughout the split. But right now, Vitality, they are just looking so good.
Jack Troll, a loving embrace from a girlfriend or a random fan. We're hoping girlfriend. All right, Jack Troll waves goodbye. Vitality walks away proud. Jizuki puts on a monster performance.
And Yamato with the nod of approval.
And you can see him, always so serious. And H2K looking a little frustrated.
You know, I spoke to Yamato a lot, and I was like, how are things going? How's the team doing? Everything looking good? And all he felt was confidence. All he had was positive things to say about this team. And you know, I was skeptical. I was like, you know, these guys talk big, but you've really got to back up those words, and Yamato guaranteed me that they would be able to. And so far against H2K, they've been able to do that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do throughout the rest of the split.
Me too. I want to see if this keeps going. If they're taking advantage of a new H2K roster, or if this is going to be the consistent level of performance we see moving forward. That is what we have to find out. You can see at the bottom corner of your screen, Jack Troll's family ready to go. Medic in the background, ready for an interview, ready to talk.
I wonder who he's going to get.
It's Jizuki. It's the Italian stallion
Of course
himself.
it's Jizuki.
And to be fair, Vitality were like, he's the Italian god. And now I'm starting to see why. Stallion might not be enough.
But how
Phidias.
many, like, this is a team full of gods, apparently. You've got the Portuguese god, you've got
Yeah, we
God
need to-
Gilius. Like,
Guys,
kings are old news, dude.
yeah, let us know
It's the
at
age
LO
of gods.
Esports. We need a new metaphor.
Yeah.
We have a lot of gods and kings. Let us know what you want, you know? Maybe we'll start naming people after Power Rangers. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Well, while we set up for the interview, got to get excited for this overall. But for more on how Vitality secured that win, let's hear from their Italian mid laner and medic.
Thank you very much, Dracos. I am joined by the Italian stallion. It's Jizuki. 9-0-6 in your first game on the EU LCS stage. How does that feel?
Well, I couldn't ask for a better debut for me. Like, I went on a comfort champion, and I rotated well in the early game, and we just destroyed them early game. It was really good.
An incredible performance all round.
Yeah.
Now, I've watched you, grow up through the Challenger Series. I've seen this team as Giants come through the Challenger Series. Is it a different experience for you on the LCS stage, or do you feel very much at home here?
I like having beavers offline, like the crowd and etc. So I think I perform even better like this. Like that's what was missing in Challenger Series. Like we had no crowd, so it was like we are playing in front of each other, but there is not really with someone seeing it, you know. But I like this. This is good. I feel at home.
You seem to be at home with your players on that rise. Final question, you're playing up against Giants tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they're going to give you much of a challenge, or do you think it's going to be another convincing win?
I don't like giving prediction. I mean, I think we showed what we got. Now it's time for Giants playing today, and we will see what they got. But I think if you play like this, it's really easy to win. If you play like this.
If you play like this, I hope you can.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, if all of you play like this. It was great to watch you today. Congratulations again on the win. I hope the Giants game goes well tomorrow as well. We're going to hand it across to a short break. After the break, we have Unicorns of Love Sheepy interviewing with Pyrotechnics, and then even more games for you today. Stay tuned.
It's the absolute nightmare of any player that's ever played this game. He's moving in. Good damage comes down. Spinny J hopping out to safety. Rai still taking the tower. Is Jizuki going to go down? Cabo grabbing a kill.